some nerve pain thing that he waited for some years, but now the doctor said they have to do. For 48 hours they have to observe. So hopefully everything.
Surgery is already done.
Today. So let's pray for him and hopefully everything goes fine. So Shiradi kind of kids or just the kids went to paradise.
Thank you for reminding me. One of them is here.
Okay.
Okay, can we start? Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chaturunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I don't like the interruption now. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vansha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Pujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam Goshpadi Kritavarisham Mashaki Kritarakshasam Ramayana Maharatnamala Vande Anilatmajam Anjana Nandanam Veeram Janaki Shokanashanam Kapishamakshahantaram Vande Lanka Bhayankaram Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritamastakanjalim Bhashpavari Paripurna Lochanam Marutim Namadarakshasantakam Manojavam Marutatuल्य Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanarayotha Mukhyam Shri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami Charitam Raghunathasya Shatakoti Pravistaram Ekahikam Aksharam Pumsam Mahapatakanashanam Valmikir Munisimhasya Kavita Vanacharinaha Shunvan Ramakatha Nadam Punayanti Param Gatim. So I had announced that Lord Ramachandra will appear today. But
2020 April.
But we will try. There is so much to build for it. Anyway, let's see. I will try my best. Balakanda primarily identifies at the beginning of the book the Yuga Dharma. So this is Treta Yuga. And the Yuga Dharma for Treta Yuga is Makhai or Yajya. The best way to please the Lord is through Yajya. We say Krite Yadhyayato Vishnu. The word Krita means, any idea? Achieved, it means perfect. Krita means perfect. So Krita Yuga, the perfect Yuga, the meditation is the method by which one can achieve Vishnu. And by the time we come to Kali Yuga, we're not fit for meditation. We're not fit for Yajna. So I was thinking what Namruchi and I do is quite humorous. And Dwapara, the deity worship, also in Kali Yuga, we're not really fit for deity worship, really. We do something, definitely. Half the time, at least this is my experience, the mudras are not clear. And most of the times we don't necessarily put all the mudras, the mantras are not, I mean, we do something. Thankfully, by Prabhupada's grace, the deity is accepting our service, and the deity understands Kali Yuga. This is the best I'm going to get at this. Right? So luckily we have the chanting of the holy name as our Yuga Dharma, which is actually good. Because when I think of anything else, it seems impossible for me. So during Treta Yuga, because Yajya is the main, is the Yuga Dharma, Balakanda is full of, or it actually has very critical uh, times where there is Yajya that is considered very special. So the Ramayana begins with Yajya. We're going to hear about Ashwamedha Yajya. And as you read Ashwamedha Yajna, there was a little ancillary Yajna called Ishta. Every major Yajna has a little piece called Ishta, where if there is a auxiliary desire, that can be fulfilled. So it's it begins with Yajna. Right in the middle of Balakanda is also Yajna, where Vishwamitra takes Rama Lakshmana to protect all the sages and their Yajna. And if you notice there, the sages are not asking for protection for themselves. They're asking for the protection of the Yuga Dharma. And Balakanda ends with Vivaha Yajna, which itself is an amazing episode. When we get there, it will be super. So these three is there to tell us that Yuga Dharma at that time is like any Yuga, one should very carefully preserve and honor it. We hear and speak so much about chanting of the holy name because this is our Yuga Dharma. And this is what one should always try to preserve, protect, and grow or make better, refine, if you will. That's sort of the structure or the Yuga Dharma in Balakanda, and that's why this Yajna is being spoken about. I'm going to tell you a few things of the Yajna, maybe about 10% of it that's there in the book. 90% we're going to skip because we may not find it relevant per se, because there are details of how the Yajna was put together. But the message for us is this. Okay, first, to get anything in this world is not easy. First. Second, you cannot get anything without the blessings of the Supreme Lord and the demigods. They have to give us their blessings, only then we can get. The third is one should go to any extent to practice that Yuga Dharma in one's life. Whatever it takes, one should do. This is important. And so we're going to go to Treta Yuga and see what King Dasharatha does. Okay? And how he does it. And how the whole Koshala kingdom is involved in the Yuga Dharma. It's not just he and his wives had a little home program. It's not like that. You will see. So the idea is that when the leaders engage in Yuga Dharma, all members of society have to be included, and they all have certain roles to play, and they all participate in the success of that project. So that's the sort of social message. So we are in chapter 13. Okay, we touched a little from chapter 13, but we're going to do a little bit more. So King Dasharatha had this desire to do Ashwamedha Yajna because he wants to have a son. But you cannot just say, I want to have a son. One has to engage in some sort of yajna to get that. So even getting a son is not easy, or getting a child is not easy. And one has to engage in certain yajna to purify oneself, and especially to get the Supreme Lord or a great soul to come is not easy at all. Although it seemed easy for, it's not easy. Everyone is continuing some yajna tapasya for lifetimes. So here Dasharatha Maharaj how many queens he had? 353. No son was born. He has a concern. Such magnificent kingdom has to be given. So Ashwamedha Yajna was done. The horse was let go. Okay, and the horse has to travel around the globe. And that is the Ashwamedha Yajna. As the horse enters other kingdoms, the local king has to either challenge the emperor by capturing the horse and then fighting the army, or they let the horse pass through, which is a way of saying, I accept the sovereignty of King Dasarath. So the horse went, traveled around the earth, and hordes of armies also traveled. After 1 year, so Dasarath was waiting. Get the idea. I'm going to embellish a little bit so you understand. 1 year. He has to wait to even begin the yajna. He waited a year. And so chapter 13 begins with Punaha Prapte Vasante. Next spring came. The whole 1 year. Tu Purnaha Samvatsaro Bhavat. 1 year passed and the horse came. That means all the kings on the planet agreed and accepted Dasarath Maharaja's sovereignty. Then he said, called on Vasishtha and asked him, please commence the Ashwamedha Yajna. So Vasishtha announced, okay, because he has a team, and this is a festival team. He told the festival team, go ahead. Everyone was assigned some roles and responsibilities. He said, make bricks in thousands and millions and construct big residences, because a lot of Brahmanas, kings, visitors are going to come. So construct, okay? Make houses for the Brahmanas, make dwellings, big wells, make mansions for the guests, Brahmanas, make houses for the Brahmanas, make special rooms and palaces for kings to come. When they come, right, one of the biggest issues for us during Janmashtami is what? Parking, thank you. So he said, make sure all their vehicles are parked. So they constructed large areas for the chariots and stables for the horses, places for the elephants, camels, whatever they came with. Those also have to be fed well, right? Because if there's no parking, then we can't come. Sorry. Parking issue. Yes. He said every need for every person must be taken care of. Invite the Kshatriyas, of course the Brahmanas, invite the Vaishyas, and invite all the Shudras also. Everybody should come. Everybody should eat and participate. Then he called Sumantra. Remember, of the 8, Sumantra. Sumantra means the one who gives best advice and very, very dear and confidant of the king. He told Sumantra, go and invite all the kings from across the globe. Send messages, send invitations. But personally, you should go and invite these specific kings. You should go. So when we have home program, we send a blast, email blast, and some people we call personally, right? And some we actually meet and say, you should come. So Sumantra was told, go to Mithila and invite Janaka, because I see in the future they're going to have a relationship. First of all, Janaka is a very close friend, but that friendship is going to turn into a relationship. So you should personally go and invite. Then he said, go and Vasishtha. He said, then go and invite the king of Kashi. Make sure you invite Dasarath's father-in-law from Kekaya kingdom, because the father-in-law is not invited, there will be problems in the house. Then his dear friend King Romapad is across in the kingdom of Anga. Invite him as well. Likewise, there are other kings called Bahuman, the king of Koshala. Okay. Then, king of Magadha, his name was Praptigya. And he said, and then invite all the kings from the Sindhu, Sauvira, and Saurashtra area. These areas don't exist anymore. Saurashtra is still vague anyway. Okay, then he said, invite all the kings from South India also. And everyone should have a place to stay. Then he said, everyone who comes, you have to make sure that they get a return gift. And when gifts are given, this is a little social thing as to how one should give gifts. This is Vashishta's lesson. So I think you should read. He said, Avagya na datavyam. One should not give a gift neglectfully. Neglectfully means take your gift and go. Avagya. That is not. You give it with great attention, with proper conduct, and with proper respect. So avagya na datavyam. Okay. And then he says, Kanda-Ch13-18 api. Chillilaya means, why am I giving this gift? I am supposed to give a return gift. That is Chillilaya. And then, Avagya-Ch13-18 dataram. If you give a gift to someone, either neglectfully, unhappily, carelessly, then the giver, one who's gifting, he says, Avagya-Ch13-18. Hanyad is one word, one way of understanding Hanyad is death will come upon them. Another way is they will be severely hurt. Everything in their life will go wrong if a gift is given without proper consideration and without proper respect and regard. That is why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks about charity so carefully. Charity in the mode of goodness, mode of passion and ignorance. So Vashishta says, Avagya-Ch13-18 dataram natra samshaya. There is no doubt in this. If you ever have a doubt, Vashishta is saying there is no doubt. For sure, such a giver will bring about great calamity in their life. Okay, so that's how chapter 13 ends. Now, someone was invited to do the main sacrifice. And that was Rishyashringa. Rishyashringa. So Rishyashringa was the head priest. In any yajna, there are 4 major brahmanas. And this is important to know because when we read 6th canto of Bhagavata, where Vishwarupa is supposed to do the yajna, we hear these words. So that's why I'm sharing. Not that it's going to change our life in any way. So any yajna has 4 types of brahmanas. The first is called Brahma. He is the one who is the supervisor, making sure everything is organized properly, everything is being done properly. That is Brahma. This is Rishyashringa. Then you have a Hota. Okay. A Hota is the one who puts the Huta. Huta is the offering. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, Brahmagnau, Brahmanahuta. Ahuti, you say, right? So one who makes the offering. So this Brahmana recites from the Rig Veda, and while making offering, make sure that such and such demigod will appear there. It's not just take a spoon and say swaha as we do. We start with camphor and a matchbox. It's not like that. But when the offering is made, like we say, idam anantaya, idam namama swaha. We're offering to Lord Ananta. Ananta most likely is not hearing it. Maybe hearing it, but not coming for sure. But this Hota has to invite and give the offerings in the proper way to all the demigods, including the Supreme Lord Vishnu. And they have to hear and come to take it. So that's Hota. Next is called the Advaryu. Advaryu is the Prabhu who does all the measurements. That for this yajna, the pit must be these dimensions. The wood must be this dimension. The earth must be prepared in this way. So many flags must be there. So many, when we say bring 5 types of fruits and 5 types of flowers and vegetables. Someone brought artichoke recently. Someone thought of, can I buy 5 vegetables such a way that after the end of it, we can make a salad? Because that is Mahaprasad from the yajna. Okay, that's great. So Advaryu make sure that all the things. I'll tell you, we did yajna many years ago in Paramarupa's house. I have to tell you this. And the wood, unfortunately, instead of whatever wood we use, someone brought these popsicle sticks. You know, the ice cream stick, flat popsicle stick. So they asked me, is that okay? I had no idea. I said, sure, why not? It's an apartment, you don't want a big fire anyway. So this is Atulya's first, I think, Srimantam. Or housewarming, I forget. Housewarming? Srimantam, right. Srimantanayana. Radha is here.
This is how it happens.
So we lit the fire. We started putting these popsicle sticks, right? My kurta was in the other room. So we had closed the door. But then the rest of the house, we started doing the yajna, we put on swaha, all the mantras, we recited. After the yajna was over, when we turned around and looked at all the people, they had black soot in their nostrils. And we looked up, the ceiling of the apartment was black with soot. The kitchen was black, and we didn't realize till I went into the other room to get my kurta, and my kurta was white, the dhoti was grey. That's when I saw the contrast. And everyone's nostrils had little black soot. The whole house was black. Not pitch black, but soot everywhere. And Paramarupa and Atulya had to clean up like anything for the next few days. If they have a chance, they will recite. So we didn't have a proper Udvaryu at that time. Advaryu. And finally, there is, so Advaryu has all these measurements in the Yajurveda. Yajurveda? I'm sorry. Yeah, Yajurveda. And then finally, there is the Udgata. This one we know. Gata, the reciter. So Udgata is the one who makes sure all the Brahmanas are reciting the mantras properly. Okay? And they get all these mantras from Samaveda. So this Brahma has to make sure that if something is not okay, then they will pause, then they will go back a few verses, and then they will recite again. Because what they're going to get is very important. So our dear Rishi Shringa was the Brahma, and all the other Brahmanas were invited. They did all their what they needed to do. Okay. Among this, as I said, a little corollary, auxiliary yajna is called Ishti, and that is going to come later. All right, from morning till night, they did all this yajna, and yajna is not easy. Okay, I'm skipping all the different methods in which certain herbs have to be brought, they have to be crushed on a particular type of stone. This has to be then offered into the fire, something else. I'm skipping all of that. But let's talk about the prasadam during the yajna, because I like that. So much was cooked and so many varieties were made that the description given by Valmiki is that the rice was like a hill. So everyone was invited to eat, and everyone was told to eat without being shy. So that someone may feel, okay, I'm a guest, maybe I should only take a little. They were told, no, you should eat as much as you want. And they all ate very, very happily. And they were told, let food be given again and again. They were also given clothing. They were given money. And they were given cows in charity. Everyone got that as return gifts. Okay. So then, for Ashwamedha Yajna to happen, it is not just the horse that is sacrificed. Okay. There are many other animals that go along with it. Aquatics, other varieties, birds, they all are sacrificed as part of the Ashwamedha Yajna. And when the Ashwamedha Yajna is being done, 21 pillars need to be constructed. And at each pillar, these animals are, I guess, tied, that they are there during the Yajna. So the main horse, the turtles are there, birds are there, the cages are there, the whole description of there, how they. Each pillar was an octagon, as is descriptions of it. Okay, the sacrificial pit was constructed in such a shape that when they were offering wood and ghee and saying Swaha, the shape of the fire was like Garuda. So according to the shape of the pit, apparently the fire shows up. That Garuda was there. And Dasharath Maharaj's Ashwamedha Yajna, it's called the altar, was not one fire pit, 18 fire pits. And these mantras were being recited. And the day before the horse is sacrificed, there are certain things that needs to be done. So Kaushalya had to take 2 swords and touch those swords to the horse. She slept the previous night in the stable where that horse is. For the Ashwamedha Yajna. And she ate ashwagandha, something. And finally, when the horse was sacrificed, the culmination of the yajna is that one has to smell the fumes that come from the horse sacrifice. Only when we do yajna, we open all the windows and we want the fumes to go away. Actually, while that is true because we have gas, what are they called? Smoke alarms, smoke detectors. The smelling of the fumes actually is meant for nourishing the body. So it depends on what wood you put in. So if you put those up popsicle sticks, then that's not good. But the kind of wood that was used. And in this case, it is said that the marrow, bone marrow of the horse that's being sacrificed has to be smelled. Of course, when we say Ashwamedha Yajna, because we're all students of Prabhupada, we understand what happens after the Yajna. The horse gets a rejuvenated body. So an older horse becomes a younger horse. That is the way the Brahmanas were powerful. Once my spiritual master said, the way to test the Brahmana was that they were asked, can you do an Ashwamedha Yajna or a Gomedha Yajna? If the Brahman was not okay, instead of a young cow or a calf coming out or a horse coming out of the yajna, you'd get a steak. That's what he said. It would be failed, and the Brahmana would be like, oops, I did something wrong. This was the test for a Brahmana. Anyway, so that was how it was done. Then, every Brahmana who does the yajna must get dakshina. Okay? So this is the dakshina that Dasharath Maharaj gave. He gave his entire kingdom away. Here's what it is. He gave the eastern section of his kingdom to the Hota. He gave the entire western section of his kingdom to the Advaryu. He gave the entire southern region of his kingdom to the Brahma. And the entire northern region was given away to the Udgata. That means after Ashwamedha Yajna, Dasharath Maharaj did not have any kingdom left. This is how Dakshina was given. So then, these great persons, these Brahmanas, this is the kind of Brahmana also one should have. They came back to Dasrath Maharaj and said, what will we do with the kingdom? We cannot rule over it. We return all of it back to you. You keep it. If you like, you can give us something that is, if not of equal value, but something that we can use. So this is what he gave. For each of the Brahmanas, he gave 1,000,000 cows, 100 million gold coins, and 400 million silver coins. This is for the great guys who came there, the big ones. It is also described that how many, this is not in this Valmiki, in other commentary, how many Brahmanas visited the Ashwamedha Yajya. In Ramayana, any question I ask you about any number, somehow it should go to something to do with 24. The whole Ramayana has some 24 gazillion, 24. Everything in Ramayana has this magical number 24. Apparently, all these great sages, they glorify a particular number, which is actually a way of glorifying a particular mantra. So in Ramayana, it's all 24. Right? 24,000 slokas, 24 syllable Gayatri. There's other places where 24 will show up anywhere. Okay. So 24 million Brahmanas came. And all of them got gifts. So just a side note. In the Ramayana, 24 is the magic number. Mahabharata? 18. Very good. Because there are 18 parvas. There is 18 this, 18 that. There's a lot of 18 that show up. Sometimes it will show us 2 times 9, but 18 is always like that. All right. So all these Prabhus got their wonderful gifts. And then 10 million gold coins were distributed among all the Brahmanas who came from outside. They were visiting Ayodhya. Okay. At this point, Dasharatha Maharaj was told by Vasishtha, very good, you've done Ashwamedha Yajna, excellent. It is very clear. Sanat Kumara had spoken long time ago, remember? Sumantra told him last week. I said, Sumantra told him that the 4 Sanat Kumaras had said that Dasharatha Maharaj will have 4 sons. So Vasishtha told him, now is the time that you should perform this Ishti Yajna to get 4 sons. So Dasharatha Maharaj told him, okay, you please do. He said, no, ask Rishi Shringa to do it. So then, chapter 15 is where he asked Rishi Shringa, can you please do this Yajna also? Since you're anyway just completed the Ashwamedha Yajna, all the Brahmins are there, fire, everything is there. Just add this on. So then Rishi Shringa thought about it a little bit and he said, yes, I will do it. Okay? And all the mantras from the Atharva Veda were recited. And all the demigods were invited to come as part of the Ishti Yajna. So one by one, all of them came. Okay? So Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Surya, Vayu, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma also came. Okay. Now when they came, and because they had to take their offerings, they were having the side conversation where all the devatas, the Upadevatas, the Gandharvas, the Kinnaras, the Siddhas, the Charanas, all these people, they had a complaint for Lord Brahma. And they said, oh, Lord Brahma, somehow or the other you've given these benedictions to this guy called Ravana. And he has made our life miserable. to please solve this issue somehow. Okay? He has made our existence completely miserable. The only persons that you gave him the boon, the only boon where in his asking he didn't ask was protection from the human beings because he thought they were too weak anyway. Okay? So please do something. Now here's an interesting point. Ravana in his previous life is Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu, Ravana asked the same blessing, similar blessings, if you will, right? Where Hiranyakashipu said, all right, if I cannot be immortal, and they asked Brahma, the same Brahma, if I cannot be immortal, then I can't be killed by this one, I can't be killed by that one, I can't be killed at this time, that time, I cannot be killed by weapons, I cannot be killed on ground, and as a whole permutation of and combination he asked. Lord Brahma said, fine, no problem. Same guy, after being killed by Lord Narasimhadev, appears as Ravana and meets Brahma and he asks what? I don't want to be killed by any of these people. The only one he doesn't ask is human beings. Because Ravana thought human beings, they're useless. They cannot even get out of bed in the morning. What will they fight with you? They're useless. Yeah. He said 21 generations. But the Sanat Kumaras also asked him to come. After that, they will get liberated. Service after service. And then liberate. Back to Vaikuntha. Radha will ask the question. So, at 21 generations are liberated. 21 generations in that lineage, not in the next life. So he came back to Ravana, asked again the same stupid questions, and Brahma said, okay, fine. So then, Brahma is also thinking how to solve this problem. They've all come for taking their share. Suddenly, and the demigod said, so you please make a request to Lord Supreme Personality, Lord Vishnu, to help solve this problem. And as they were pondering and thinking and discussing, on Garuda comes the Supreme Lord, because he's also invited in the Yajya. And so powerful that he personally comes. On Garuda is a whole description of the beauty of the Supreme Lord with 4 arms, Shankha, Chakra, Gada and Padma. Garuda there, beautiful kirita there, helmet, fantastic shark-shaped earrings, gold necklaces, fantastic diamond-studded girdle, called Mekhala. In Telugu, it's called Vadhanam. What do you say? Waistband is what we call in our pujari room. Waistbands. A few years ago, in our pujari room, they were called hand belts and leg belts. Ankle belts were called leg belts. So he came in all. If you sat in that room and described it, then it would be very funny. But that's how it. Okay. And this is chapter 15 now. He now speaks to the demigods, including Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, that I have appeared and I heard what your problems are. This Ravana has not asked protection from human beings. So I will appear as the son of Dasharatha, or the sons of Dasharatha, in human form and relieve all of you of this tyranny of Ravana, and not just Ravana, his brothers, all his armies, his uncles, his relatives, and anyone who is associated with Ravana will take care of them. And he said to them, before I appear, I want all of you, not just the demigods, the Siddhas, the Charanas, the Vidyadharas, the Kinnaras, etc. Everybody take birth in the family of monkeys and bears. Monkeys is the whole species of monkeys. In monkeys, there are the red-bottomed monkeys, there are the langurs, there are the gorillas, other kinds of apes, vivida, those are different kind of ape altogether. Okay, all of you take birth. Yeah? All of you demigods, your expansions must be there. And in the kingdom and families of bears. All said yes. Lord sat on Garuda and went back. And then when the Ishti Yajya was done, so Lord Ramchandra will appear to him. Ishti Yajya was done. From that Yajya appeared the Yajya Purusha himself. Okay? And he brought something with him. He brought payasam. Payasam is sweet rice. Okay? They brought sweet rice in a golden pot with a silver lid. And he held it very close to himself. So then there are meanings and descriptions for this. Without that, what's the fun, right? So first of all, because it is the Yajya Purusha himself, right? Previously, when he came as Dhanvantari and he got a pot of nectar with him, something happened. The demons yanked it out of his hands, right? That's what happened. So this time, he's holding it close to him so that no one will take it away. Especially the demons of Ravana will not come and take away this sweet rice. The reason it's in a golden pot with a silver lid, two reasons. When one is performing Yajya, it is said that the demigods get gold as an offering and the Pitris, the forefathers, get silver as an offering. And any Yajya has to satisfy both the demigods and the forefathers. So the gold and silver represent that they're also blessed. Okay. Gold represents mode of action. Silver represents mode of ignorance. But inside that is the Suddha Sattva, the Prasadam. Or from a practical perspective, gold conducts heat. Silver preserves heat. Okay? In a way, actually, it's the other way around. Gold preserves and silver dissipates. Okay? That is why people used to eat in silver plates when you put hot food in it. So that the payasam is not too hot, not too cold. Also, it came out of the fire though. Not too hot, not too cold. It's easy to consume. So anyway, he comes out and gives the pot to Dasharatha and tells him, please divide this among your queens. So I'm going to tell you how Valmiki Rishi says it was divided, and then other people who say how it was divided. There's slight, I guess, differences, but all have the same conclusion. All right? So let's see. All right. So Valmiki says that the payasam that was given, Dasharatha took half of it and gave it to Kaushalya. Half was remaining. From that half, he made another half. So how is that? 1/4. And that 1/4 he gave to Sumitra. What is left? 1/4. From that 1/4, he made again two halves. 1/8 each. 1/8 again he gave to Sumitra. And 1/8 was given to Kaikeyi. That is Valmiki's description. Kalidas, the great poet Kalidas, describes the same uh, distribution slightly differently. He first gave Kaushalya and told her, from your portion give a little to, he made two halves, gave one half because she was the first queen. He gave it to Kaushalya and said, from your portion you give a little to Sumitra. The other half he gave to Kaikeyi because she is the dearmost queen, and told her, from yours you give a little to Sumitra. Okay. Another version says he gave half to Kaushalya, and then he gave, similar to how Valmiki says, but he waited first for Kaushalya to eat her share. This is why Lord Ramachandra is born first. Regardless, the way it was distributed, this way or that way, you will see why it makes sense that Lord Ramachandra was born to Kaushalya. Who was born next? Bharata was born next. And Lakshmana and Shatrugna were born as twins. Okay. So now, I don't have the astrological chart, but I'll try to remember. On Chaitra Mas. So, after they ate the sweet rice, Lord Ram not born yet. Nothing was stolen. Nothing was stolen. You want something to be stolen? You have to go to Bhagavatam first. Something was stolen. Who took it? I didn't hear it. A bird stole and Hanuman was born out of it. I heard that version from someone else as well. But it's not in Valmiki Ramayana, it's not in the Ramayanas that I'm referring to. Maybe find that reference for me, it would be important. Because Hanuman's birth is always this sort of way. Some say the expansion of Lord Shiva. It was expansion of Lord Shiva that Vayu carried and brought. So, a different way. But at least Valmiki doesn't say that something was stolen. Maybe skip the detail. So after the sweet rice was consumed, the queens became pregnant and they did not deliver until how many weeks or months for gestation? 40. They were born after 12 months, not 10. Full 12 months gestation period. Okay. And this is the order in which they were born. In the month of Chaitra, in the afternoon time, exactly at 12 noon, okay, in the Punarvashu Nakshatra, was born Ramachandra. I don't have my other nakshatras. I'll give it to you next time. I'll find and I'll send through WhatsApp. I didn't think they will be appearing this class already. So, anyway, next was Bharata and Shatrugna and Lakshmana were born as twins. Now they were born as twins. However, when they were put in their individual cribs, they were always crying. They were crying babies. And so everyone was concerned why they were crying. And they tried different ways to stop them from crying. But they wouldn't stop. So Vasishtha said something clicked for him. And he told the queens, bring Lakshmana's crib into Lord Ramachandra's room. And take Shatrugna's crib into Bharata's room. As soon as that was done, the crying reduced. It did not stop. They were crying, but not they were not wailing. So everyone was concerned. Why are they still crying? Then Vasishtha said, oh, not separate cribs. Bring Lakshmana into Ramachandra's crib and Shatrugna into Bharata's crib. As soon as that was done, crying altogether. So it is said that in the way Dasaratha distributed, one of the reasons, the way they were distributed is that share that first went to Sumitra came from Kaushalya's share. So Lakshmana, who was born, has this affinity for Lord Ramachandra. And the second share that went from Kaikeyi to Sumitra, Shatrughna was born, and that is why Shatrughna has affinity for Bharat. In fact, Shatrughna didn't have any affinity for Lord Ramachandra. In the sense, of course, he's the Supreme Lord, they're all his expansions. But when they were together, Shatrughna did not hang out with Lord Ramachandra, always with Bharata. And if you look at Ramayana, every time you never hear about Shatrughna. Next week when we meet, we're going to talk about their qualities, why they are like that, why they are together, why it is important for us to understand who they are. Okay, we'll end with this. The Supreme Lord, in the Valmiki talks about these four like this. Elsewhere, in the other Puranas, it is described that the Supreme Lord appeared as Ramachandra. His carrier, Ananta, appeared as Lakshmana. The Gada appeared as Shatrughna. And the conch appeared as Bharata. Now, why Bharata appears as the conch will, as we hear about Bharata, will reveal. There will be something for you to come back next week. So these four were born. There are the nakshatras are there, and they were such a joy and delight for Dasharatha and all his schools. So this promise given to Lord Brahma and the demigods finally has gotten fulfilled. Okay, we'll end this with this comment. Although it is called Balakanda, there is no Balya Leela of the four boys. Okay, so some commentators say that Lord Ramachandra's childhood was very plain vanilla like, no excitement, no out of the ordinary, okay, no adventures, nothing. He was such a wonderful kid that his parents had no issues, no problems, no complaints came any day, just a smooth childhood. Next appearance, boy, even before appearing, every day there were complaints as Krishna. As soon as he appeared, first of all, he appeared in a jail, not in a palace, right? Prison. And as soon as he appeared, Putana, Shakatashura, Trinavarta, this complaint, stealing butter, that every day Mother Yashoda had some problem to deal with. So Lord Ramachandra's resume is squeaky clean. Krishna's resume is full of adventure. Now then, why is it called Balakanda? When there is really only appearance. And you will notice when I read next time the verse, after 3 verses, Ramachandra is already 12 years old. In 10th canto, how many chapters for Krishna's boyhood? My gosh, chapter after chapter. 3 verses, 12 years old. And that is why Vishwamitra has to appear. Okay. So some acharyas explain that Balakanda is primarily to show us the Yuga Dharma, as we talked earlier on. And Balakanda, actually the Bala refers not to the Lord, but Bala refers to the spiritual master. And that is why Vishwamitra, out of the blue, walks into Dasharath Maharaj's palace. So the connection between Bala and the Guru, the spiritual master, is this, that one of the characteristics of the spiritual master is that he is childlike, not childish, childlike. We are childish. Guru is childlike. And there are 2 characteristics of a child that are very endearing. One, a child generally does not know how to defend himself or herself. They don't. That is why we protect our children, right? So the guru is such that he can protect anyone and everyone, but will never defend himself. Just childlike. That's one. And you'll notice anyone who has that quality, even in the scripture, for themselves, they don't care. There's just one example. When Indra comes to Rishi called Dadichi for his spine, because he has to kill Vritrasura. What did Dadichi say? It's easy for you to ask because you don't know what it means to give up one's body. You don't know what it means. You're only doing it to protect yourself. And you're asking me, give up my life to protect your life. But sages, rishis by nature are such that they only think of protecting others. So you're happy, I'm happy to give my spinal cord to you, of which you can make the vajra, whatever the weapon that you need to kill everything. This is the nature. So that's one about childlike. The second about the child is innocence. Children innocently say things that adults hesitate. Right? That is why when in many instances in Bhagavatam, a child will come and give instruction. Where do we find a child giving instruction? King Chitraketu. Yamraj. Jadavata is not a child. Jadavata is grown up. Yeah. But when Chitraketu's son dies, that son comes back to life. Narada Muni says, oh, come back. And that child gives a whole big class on, oh, I'm not your child, I'm someone else's. Actually, I'm no one's child, etc. So children can say with innocence the most profound truth. And people will take or hear it without any defenses. So Balakanda is actually a glorification of the spiritual aspect. And that is why Vishwamitra's entry is very, very critical. There are other humorous ways in which some acharyas explain why he came. We will tell you next time. Okay? So we'll pause here. Any questions, comments?
You mentioned about sacrifice of animals. We mainly talk about what happened and what happened to that animal, but why it is done. Demigods take those animals? Or
do demigods take the animals?
Like we say sacrificial offerings and also sacrificial share to the demigods. So why animals? We know what happened. They'll get a new body. Okay, but why animals?
It is a Vedic method in which animals represent certain, I would like to use the word opulences. And though all of it comes from the Supreme, right? In the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Annad bhavanti bhutani, parjanyad anna sambhava. Right? And unless you offer that anna in Yajya, rain will not come. So that anna also includes, at least in Treta Yuga, the animals as well. Now the reason animals are done, animals are sacrificed, is because when creation had to happen, Lord Brahma with the demigods sacrificed the original animal. This is the part of the Purusha Sukta prayers, right? Where Aja is generally a goat, but is also the Supreme Lord. So the Purusha Sukta prayers identify the Rig Veda method of sacrifice. It includes these animals. Now, do the demigods take the pieces of the animal as an offering? I don't think so. It is the offering of what I consider mine. I'm offering because it's coming from the benediction of the great demigod.
So what is the share that normally they mention about share? Even we see in
so for example, when let's say on a stage you have important guests, right? The share is in the yasha, the fame. if you are there on stage, Naveen's there, you're there, and I only speak of you, oh, we're very happy that you are with us tonight, and we don't invite them or speak about them, that's an insult, right? So the yajna, the outcome of the yajna has to be a gift from the demigods. So if the demigods are not properly acknowledged with their shares of that yajna offering, with their names invited, then it is an improper yajna. So that is the share of yasha. That is why everyone is there. And when Daksha did the yajna, he did not give the share to Lord Shiva, which means Lord Shiva's name was not recited. He was there in the public, but he was not acknowledged. That is the share. Okay? Yes. I will repeat the question here because Mike is here. Go ahead. Right.
So when we're doing like now, does this represent, do these four Brahmas represent anything for us?
No, it's a whole different yuga and a different yuga dharma. But our execution of yuga dharma also has preparation. And our preparation is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. These are our. This is, although the four may not correspond, I don't know like that, but we cannot chant the holy name without carefully avoiding the 10 offenses, without carefully cultivating these four qualities, without living a life based on the regulative principles. If we don't do, then our chanting is just a mechanical piece of it. It's like a yajna that doesn't have enough ghee or the power of fire in it. So some people say, I've been chanting, but nothing is really happening for me. That means the yajna itself is not potent. Whether the Sankirtan yajna or the Japa yajna, both are Nam yajna, is not potent enough. It doesn't have the strength in it. It's like you want to cook something, but you light a candle below the pot. It's not, if there is fire, it's not strong enough. Yeah. Anyone on the phone, computer?
Hare Krishna.
Any question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
Another detail about that yajna was that Narahari Prabhu, along with his wife, were also involved in the cleaning process for the next 2 days.
Did you give them 10 million gold for all the cleaning that he's sitting here nodding his head when I was telling him about the black suit that was all over. Yeah.
Radha has a question.
Sure.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So when Rama, what was Rama's names? How did Rama get the name Rama?
Next Sunday, Vashishta Muni is going to name them. Next Saturday. Sorry. Next Saturday. Next Saturday, Vashishta is going to name all the 4 boys and give reasons why they are named like that.
Is that what your question is? Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else online? Yeah, sure.
You mentioned Ashwamedha Yajna, so he has to send a horse to every kingdom to challenge or accept his rule.
You didn't go to Ravana's kingdom?
That was there for me every time. Somehow, so Rakshasas does not count.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Cross Sri Lanka.
It crossed the Atlantic Ocean? Even Lord Ramachandra could not cross, so what to speak of a horse? I don't know. I don't know if it went to Ravana's kingdom or not. Ravana, of course, Ravana was not going to accept the sovereignty of Dasharatha. In fact, they were all tormented by him.
Jarasandha didn't accept it, so they have to plan and kill him.
That's right. I don't know. I don't know the answer. Good question. I don't know. You find out. I will also find out.
This looks very.
What is it?
Boss can just
I mean, if
hold
such
it.
simple answers can answer your question, I have a lot of those. I have a lot of such answers. The horse did not know direction. GPS was not there. It only went in one direction. And turned around and came. They didn't allow the horse to go and steered it somewhere else. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Ramana ki jai.
Won't like it. Won't ever give it. And the very next thing
One of the things is that the demigods are obliged when someone executes their tapasya properly.
Daddy, Daddy, I gave.
Yeah.
Daddy.